When an economy is based on riba, lending and borrowing on interest, the rich will now remain permanently rich and the poor will remain permanently poor. If you've still not understood, this book will help you. Took me 4 years to write it, The Prohibition of Riba in the Quran and Sunnah. And this one will help you to muster up the courage to read the bigger one, The Importance of the Prohibition of Riba in Islam. Bismillahi awwaluhu wa akhiruh. My 1 month of sweat has now been reduced to 2 weeks. Okay? What does Allah say about this in the Quran? It's there in the Quran. It's there. But we don't notice it. The Prophet Shu'aib alayhi salam and the market or the economy of the people of Shu'aib alayhi salam is a corrupted market. There's a lot of ripping off going on in this market. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responds to it in the Quran, and He declares 3 times in the Quran. Listen to the words. وَلَا تَبْخَسُ النَّاسَ أَشْيَاءَهُمْ. Do not do this. My 1 month is now reduced to 2 weeks. Do not diminish and make less the value of people's property, people's labor, etc. That is haram. And so this money, which is losing value, is by the definition of the Quran haram. But we were asleep. Let me include myself in it so nobody will be angry with me. We were all asleep. And we didn't recognize that we were being taken for a ride. But had it been an African American, you must have heard his name, a man named Malcolm X. Oh, he used to see with 2 eyes. Oh yes. Had it been Malcolm, Malcolm would have asked, who took my money? And how did they take it? And then it would have become clear that my loss was somebody else's gain. Let me repeat that. When my money could no longer buy a camel, it could only buy a donkey. The value of my labor has been diminished by half. My loss was somebody else's gain. 5 years later, when I take it out, can't buy a donkey anymore. Can only buy a goat now. And so my 1 month has now been diminished to 1 week. If this keeps on going on, I'm going to be enslaved. A new slavery will come upon the world if this keeps on going on like this. Surely it was time for the ummah of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam to stop fighting amongst themselves over popcorn. Because that's what they're doing. Fighting over popcorn. While this massive betrayal of Islam is taking place, and we are blissfully ignorant of it. That's the price we pay when we only have scholarship, but no nur. 5 years later, when you take out that money, can't buy a goat anymore. You only buy chicken and chips.